The next kind are solving those ones with fractions. If you remember from introductory algebra or intermediate algebra before, anytime we have fractions in our equations, because most people don't like working with fractions, we can get rid of the fractions by multiplying by the least common multiple of the denominator. In this case, if I have a 3, a 5, and a 2, they don't have any common factors, so I would just take the 3 times the 5 times the 2, and I get 30. I'm going to multiply each of those fractions by 30, and the denominators should all go into 30 evenly so that I can then cancel those fractions out of there. If you're really bad with fractions, you could probably multiply with your calculator, but I'm just going to do some canceling. Is that this dinging? Still says it's recording. 3 goes into 30 10 times, so 10 times 1u gives me 10u. If you take 30 times 1/3 on your calculator, you get 10. 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times my -7 would be -42. If you take -7/5 times 30 on your calculator, you get -42. And 2 goes into 30 15 times. 15 times -1 is -15. Now when you multiply by that common denominator, it should always be a positive number that you're multiplying by, so none of your signs should change when you're doing that step. This one's still positive, this one's still negative, that one's still negative. Now we have an equation that hopefully is easier to solve than all those fractions. I want to get the u by itself. I have to add my 42 to the other side. If you take -15 plus 42, you would get $27. And then I'm going to go ahead and divide by my 10. And I can't reduce that fraction down. I am just going to leave the improper fraction. And so 27/10. And I see that I should pay attention to see if I need to change some of these, because all of my denominators are the same. Anyway, on here again, I have a denominator of a 5, a 2, and a 3, and so my least common multiple again will be 30. So I'm going to multiply everything by 30. So again, when I'm canceling, 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times my -2 would give me -12. On my other side, 2 goes into 30 15 times. 15 times 1x is 15x. And then 3 goes into 30 10 times. 10 times my -4 would be -40. So -12 equals 15x minus 40. If I want to solve that for x, the next thing I should do is move my 40 over, so I'm going to add 40 to -12. -12 plus 40 would give me 28. So 28 equals 15x. And then, of course, my last step is dividing by my coefficient and looking to see if I can reduce, but 28 and 15 don't have any common factors, and so 28/15 is just going to be my answer for x. Number 6. We have -1/3 plus 1/2 w equals -1/5. So if we multiply by our common denominator, we'd be multiplying by 30 again, right? So if you take 30 times that -1/3, you're going to get 3 3 goes into 30 10 times, and 10 times negative 1 means I'm going to get negative 10, right? Plus half, 1/2 W times 30 would give you 15W. 2 goes into 30 15 times, and 15 times 1W is positive 15W. And then negative 1/5 of 30, 6. 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times my negative 1 means I'm going to have a negative 6 there. So if I'm going to solve that, the next thing I'd want to do is add the 10. 15W then equals 4. And my last step, divide by 15. So W equals 4/15.